Hello, good evening. My name is Richard. It isn't Friday, it's actually Monday. We are doing a very, very special Arsenal women's show for you tonight. Of course, the game was on Friday, so we couldn't do it then, unfortunately. So we're going to do it tonight. We are going to look back on, of course, the FA Cup defeat to Liverpool, the bounce back game against Everton, of course, on Friday night, and of course tomorrow. Wow, what a night it is! The Champions League is starting. It is, of course, the first knockout game, and we are away in Madrid against Real Madrid. So we're going to look into that game as well. It is going to be quite spectacular. So this is one that you do not want to miss. It's all coming up the other side of this. And we have got the Lord Andreas is with us, and although we can't see him, Amar's here as well. How are you doing, Andreas? Good to see you again.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here again and looking forward to the show. So to discuss disappointing FA Cup and better WSL game, and looking forward to the Champions League.
Yes, tomorrow is going to be very, very special as well, I'm sure. And Amar as well, good to see you. Well, I say good to see you. We can't see you, but it's good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, just the lighting's better here than anything. But yeah, no, it's good to have you. Good to be back. I've been here in a while. Lots to discuss, and plenty to look forward to in the next week. So it should be exciting.
It's definitely going to be exciting. There's no doubt about that. It generally is. We've got some comments in already. Greg is with us, of course. Good evening, my friend. Hope you are doing well. 110 volts. Is any updates on Foxy? We believe she's fit and available for tomorrow, but we'll find out. Jill says, back in training. Yeah, she's back in training. Fingers crossed she'll be available tomorrow. Greg says, the Lord and the Great Amar. Exactly. What do you want on a Monday evening? Come on. I mean, we're spoiling you, aren't we? Let's be honest. Yeah. But before we get on to the good stuff, and there is a lot of good stuff, we do have to go back to the FA Cup game, unfortunately, against Liverpool at Meadow Park. 10 days ago, whenever it was. Very, very disappointing. But, we have to discuss it because that's what we're here for. So obviously, Andreas, you were there. If you haven't seen the vlog, do check it out, because although the result wasn't great, the vlog's really good as always. It's difficult to know what went on, because that was probably the worst performance since Rene's been in charge by quite some distance. I think it was awful. We were terrible that day. We couldn't pass the ball to each other, let alone anything else. I mean, Liverpool came with a game plan and it worked, obviously, for them. But it was more about how bad we were. I mean, if we'd played anywhere near our level, I think we would have won that game okay with no problems, but we just never got going. I mean, what do you think the problem was, other than the pitch, which people have mentioned wasn't great? I know, but what do you think the reasons was? Because we just looked a totally different team, didn't we, to what we've been like?
Yeah, the disappointing thing on this game was that Liverpool deserved the win. And this is very hard to say. You go to a game with the expectation, to see a good match and to see your team winning, and then you sit in the stands and it's not. We created no chance. We were not present in the midfield. No control over the game over the whole 90 minutes, and after the game, or in the last minutes of the game, the supporters club is always voting for player of the match. We had no player of the match. I couldn't give any of our players a vote for this game because they were all terrible. None of them had their normal level, and I don't understand what happened. And that we were not able at halftime to turn things around. Of course the pitch was bad, but the conditions are the same for both teams. And just saying Liverpool played for counter attacks or something like that, they were playing lying deeper. So that's no excuse, no explanation for the bad performance. Yeah, you can't blame 1, 2, 3 players. I think Rene could have substituted all 11, and yeah, that's the bad thing. All 11. So even Daphne had a bad game. Two terrible passes to Liverpool in the feet of Liverpool players, and we were lucky not to fall behind earlier. Yeah, of course, the goal for Liverpool was a lucky goal from the post to hit the head or the back from Daphne, and then going in the back of the net. And 12 minutes before the end, yeah, but we still had 12 minutes and 7 minutes or 9 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah,
but nothing. We created nothing. And and one thing I said in the blog, the missing squad depth is something that kills us. If you have to bring a centre back like Amanda as a striker and hope for a Gen BT effect, that there is one cross or a set piece or a corner and she can head it in, even if there would have been such a situation and we level and go to extra time. What do you want with a centre back as a striker? And I don't think we would have won, even if by luck we go to extra time, then Liverpool would have won there. I have no explanation, and the game management from Rene was not good. Waiting for substitutions, and I think maybe she has a problem, or she's still learning how to deal with the knockout games when it's possible to go to extra time. It was the problem against Man City when we lost in the last dying seconds of the game, and she had not made the substitutes, and now this time again. But anyway, as I said, the game was all over bad from everybody. All players on the pitch were totally under normal level, and Rene was under her normal level, so we deserved to lose, and it was very hard and disappointing. It still hurts to be out in the FA Cup.
It does, and especially more the way we went out. I mean, you can accept losing the game. Yeah. You're playing against teams that are good teams, but it was the way that we lost that game. And I agree. I thought Rene's handling of that whole game was awful. You know, why leave it to the last 5 or 10 minutes? Well, why leave it till we go a goal down to suddenly make the changes? It's like when it was 0-0, change it to try and win the game. Don't change it to try and stay in it because we've conceded a goal, which had come in pretty much from the start of the game. Liverpool had the better chances anyway. And I just thought that I know there's a few, we've mentioned it a few times on the channel before. There's some people in the comments have made it before as well. Was Rene really the right choice to take us forward and to be able to catch and compete with Chelsea and stuff like this? And judging on pretty much every game since we came back after Christmas, you have to question her. She's got so many things wrong in the big games. I think before Christmas, when Jonas left or sacked, whatever it was, but when Jonas left, if you looked at those next run of games that she won, pretty much all of them, maybe the Bayern Munich game, the exception, but most of them you would have expected us to have won. We would have won them with Jonas as manager. They wasn't the difficult games. There was no pressure, and I don't know. I just felt as though they were good performances. We scored a lot of goals. We were playing some nice football. But I think in terms of results, I think we would have won pretty much most of those games anyway. And now after Christmas, when the pressure's on a bit more, we've got knockout competition games. Every game in the league's important. We've come up short. You know, we lost to Chelsea. Okay, we were unfortunate, but we lost to Chelsea. We lost to Man City in the semi-final. We've lost to Liverpool now in the FA Cup. And my worry is, which we will come on to, we've got the Champions League. That's the next competition coming up. And so far, the kind of, I don't know, my thought process with it is, it doesn't look good when the pressure's on big games and we're kind of folding. And this is what was happening under Jonas. Yes, okay, he won the 2 cups, so he did manage to get it right on a few occasions when it mattered. But quite often we lost the big games, didn't we? We lost the games in the league when we needed to win. We lost to Chelsea too many times. We lost the semi-final of the Champions League. Yes, we were unlucky, but we still lost. And seems to be a theme now that's carrying on with Rene, which I think all of us were hoping wasn't going to be the case. You know, that Rene was going to come in and suddenly these things would change. And my worry, certainly after the Liverpool game in particular, was, are we heading in the right direction with this manager now? I'm not convinced yet. It's still early days. I'm not going to judge it right now and say no or yes, but I'm questioning it a lot more now than I was before Christmas, when we were all saying, well, I think Rene's deserved that contract she's got, by the way. I think she deserved, we said this before, she deserved the contract, but is she actually the right person to take the club where we need to go over the next 18 months? I'm starting to question that now. I mean, Emma, obviously the Liverpool game was terrible. We know that. And it's not just really about that one performance. It's more about the big games that we've had recently. We've come up short. And is that because we're not quite good enough in terms of the squad? Is it that Rene's not the one to be able to take us forward? Or are we maybe looking at it from the wrong angle a little bit, really? You know, yes, we have got gaps in the squad, as Andreas rightly said. And I'm sure we can hopefully get those filled in over the next transfer window in the summer and maybe next year. But, I mean, where do you think it sort of dropped away? Because it was all positive, wasn't it, before Christmas? And suddenly now it's a little bit like, well, all we've got left for really is a Champions League. And that's very difficult to win, as we know.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't really watch the Liverpool game. I was actually working that day, and I didn't. But when I saw the stats afterwards, and I thought I was expected us to win, and we don't talk about too much. But to have only one shot on target across the whole 90 minutes. Yes, Liverpool. It's funny, isn't it? City sacked the manager, got their successful manager back. Liverpool sacked the manager, and now they got a player. Look at all of a sudden how well they're playing, and they'll be a difficult game though. Looking ahead, we don't look too far ahead, but they'll look for. That'll be a difficult game for us at the Emirates on Saturday, but a chance to maybe get one back. I don't know. He started off so well. I think it was more of a motivation. I wouldn't say Jonas, as I said in the past. I don't think he lost the dressing room in the past, and that's what led to his resignation. I just think the tactics were a bit samey, and he wasn't getting the best out of the players. Whereas, I know Rennie, she started off brilliantly. I mean, you're going to have bumps along the road, I guess, but it is disappointing to have lost 2 home cup fixtures. I don't know whether I've been hearing some pundits say, is it to do with the fact they play Bournemouth? It doesn't always suit the fact that it's such a tight stadium, and now they've just grown so used to playing at the Emirates that they've outgrown the Bournemouth pitch. But I mean, they can't play every game at the Emirates Stadium no matter what. And and squad depth as well. It has been talked about, hasn't it? It's not. I mean, we're not going to ever spend the big bucks like Chelsea are going to spend. And I mean, ultimately, we want to close the gap to them. Yes, okay. We have only lost to them narrowly this season. But if you really want to win the big prizes, then you have to sign the big players. And I wouldn't say whilst Rene it's not that she's not getting the best out of the players. Maybe she needs to look at when things are going wrong earlier and try to make the changes, and rather than maybe I wouldn't say maybe passive is not the right word, but maybe be a bit more active in the way she wants to change the game, and that's going to be crucial going forward into these next big games we have coming up against Madrid and Liverpool, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, I do feel a little bit that. We've started to see the maybe the flaws with Rene in the big games that we've had recently in the cup games, and I think you're right about outgrowing Meadow Park. I do feel as though that is maybe something that I think when you're used to playing on the Emirates pitch, which is absolutely perfect, and then suddenly you've got to go onto the Meadow Park pitch. I mean, if you remember a year and a half ago, no one won at Meadow Park. No one could beat us at Meadow Park. Every single game, you knew we were going to win. In fact, I remember sitting here saying some of the games that were coming up at the Emirates, play them at Meadow Park because we've got a better chance of winning, because that was how it was. Yeah. And we seem to struggle at the Emirates, especially when it was maybe 5,000, 8,000 crowd in the Emirates. We seem to struggle a little bit. And maybe the big pitch at the time wasn't used to it. But now it's almost gone complete circle. Now it's like I don't want any game to be played at Meadow Park again, because that pitch is not at the level that the team need to be playing at. And I mean, okay, they can maybe improve the pitch. It's not generally been that bad previous seasons from what I remember of it. But anyway, it's an issue. And I do feel as though now we're moving away from Meadow Park anyway. Let's be honest. I don't think there'll be more than 3 or 4 games there next season.
No.
I'm sure we'll start putting these cup games to the Emirates, realising that we're losing at Meadow Park now.
Clash. Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they can work out a way of making sure we can get the game played. John says Olivia Smith dunks on Arsenal and Man U. She's a great player. Absolutely. She was brilliant against Man United, what I saw of it. So, yeah. Joe says, unusually for Kings Meadow. You mean Meadow Park? The crowd
Kings Meadow. That's not
Kings Meadow's where Chelsea play, and that's always because there's no fans in it. Anyway, John says, I swear, after seeing what Olivia Smith did to Katie McCabe, I'm generally thinking we should let her go. I don't know. Yeah, Katie McCabe struggled against that. There's no doubt. Absolutely, she did. She had a terrible time trying to keep Olivia Smith quiet, and she's not the only one who struggled. I don't think we should start thinking of letting her go because of one player she had struggles with. I mean, come on. Overall, she's still got a lot to offer, Katie McCabe. If we're going to get rid of people, I wouldn't say she'd be anywhere near the top of the list, would she?
Oh God, what the hell just happened? Oh, he's gone off. What happened?
We lost Richard.
Oh no, we lost Richard. Oh no. Oh, fingers crossed. Well, that's very rare. Normally we lose you. Uh-oh. Come on, Richard, come back. I'll refresh the page. Let me refresh. Let's just do a refresh.
Whoops. Now everybody's gone. I hope Richard will be back soon.
There we go. I've been having a few. Yes, I've been having a few problems in the last couple of. I think my laptop's maybe reaching the end of its natural life, so it seems to just not work when I need it to. So it just seems to disappear. Anyway, we got ourselves back now. Ours come back as well. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, hopefully it won't happen again. I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I need to get a new laptop. I think that's what needs to happen. Andy says players need to take accountability. Yes. They do, absolutely they do. But when it's not working on the pitch, it's the manager's job to change it and make, whether it's tactical, whether it's substitutions, whatever it is. And yeah, the players have got to take accountability. I agree. They wasn't good enough on that particular game, and they haven't been in some other games. But I don't know, what's the manager paid for if the manager's job isn't to get results get the best out of the players and get the results that we need, if it means changing things, whatever it is. And she's not done that enough, certainly not in that game anyway. Wayne says, I ain't going to say too much on Renee yet, as she's had a good start to get Arsenal career. But from the club side, she's been a number 2 here, and for the most part has little experience. Similar to it's difficult to disagree with you, my friend. And I think that's what we all maybe feel. And I said at the time when Jonas went, we had a big opportunity to get a top manager in. We're Arsenal at the end of the day. We can get anyone we want, technically. And, you know, the club dillied and dallied, didn't they? Didn't make an announcement. Renee did a decent job as interim, got the team playing, got some results, and in the end, even then, they didn't want to give her the job, did they? Until the last minute after Christmas, it was. I mean, and since she's got the job full time, it seems to have all started to fall apart a little bit in terms of results and stuff in the big games. But I think you're right. I don't want us to maybe judge Renee too much now, because bearing in mind, yes, she was a number 2, so this isn't her team. It's the players that are at the club that she's inherited. And, you know, is she going to change too much? Does she want to change too much? We'll have to find out. The summer transfer window is going to be key. But she hasn't got the experience at the top level as a manager. I agree with that. And that's something that maybe when it comes to the big games, this is where that experience really comes in, doesn't it? Because when you know how to win those big games, you know what it takes, you're more likely to be able to get those results. And Renee hasn't been able to. And as you mentioned, Arteta, it's a similar thing, isn't it? He's not managed to get the results in those big games when it really matters. So maybe that is experience, and maybe that will come. But are we just a club that's just, you know, a charity that can just take it and give people opportunities, like you know, the old days when you used to take in, you know, the 16-year-olds out of school to give them a job experience? That's not what we should be doing. We should be looking at the best people to take us forward and become the best club, because that's always where we've come from, especially on the women's side of things. And someone mentioned before about I don't know if it's one of the comments actually, about you know, spending money like Chelsea has to spending. What's the point of us filling out the Emirates then? If we're not bringing in all that money from that, what's the point of doing that? If we're not players. What's the point? We might as well stay at Meadow Park and play in front of 3,000 fans if we're not gonna spend the money on the players to compete with Chelsea or with Barcelona or everybody else. I just think it's just madness, really. That's what we're at the Emirates for. That's what we're getting the big crowds for, so that we can compete in the transfer market and on the pitch with everybody else. So yeah, we've got to do it, haven't we? Definitely. Joe says, I agree that Rene didn't manage the game too well, but the players, many of whom are internationals, didn't take responsibility, and McCabe wasn't good fast enough against. No, she wasn't. I mean, we said that already. She struggled. We know that. But yes, I'm not saying the players should be let off, because they were terrible, all of them. And as Andreas said, who would you pick as player of the match in that game? Nobody. Daphne was probably our best player, and that was her worst game for us because she made a couple of good saves, despite the goal and despite a couple of mad things that she did. It was just terrible. Anyway, John says Arsenal director is going to treat Rene the same way he did Arteta.
Yeah,
they will. And at the moment, I'd say she's probably earned a bit more time. She's got the contract. I'm sure she'll stay out of contract till the end of next season, and then we'll see where we are. But I'm just questioning whether she's the right one long term. Greg says, instead of questioning the manager, the players should be questioned. Their commitment wasn't there. It wasn't in that game, and it hasn't been in maybe some other games, you could say. But the results were on the manager. The results are on the manager. And, at the end of the day, if she'd made loads of changes, she'd tried to change things during the game, made the substitutions earlier, I would have said 100% we could blame maybe more of the players, but she didn't. Rene was 100% responsible for not changing that early enough when it was 0-0. She didn't change it till we were 1-0 down. Change it at 0-0. Change it to win the game. And I don't understand why she didn't do that. It made no sense. We could all see, everyone in the ground could see, everyone watching the game could see, it was crying out for change because nothing we were doing was working. So you might as well have changed it because it wasn't going to make any difference. The either was going to get worse, or stay the same, or it might have got better. In the end, we did nothing. Yeah. We conceded a goal. And then, suddenly we'll throw Amanda up front, who's not played up front. Really. I mean,
in other games, Rene makes early changes. She reacts at halftime or short after halftime. And that's what I said in knockout games. This was against Man City at home, and now against Liverpool. I don't know. She's too much hesitating, or
passive,
how to treat such a knockout game who could go to extra time. When can I make the changes? Should I wait for changing for extra time to have fresh legs there? And so I think this is her problem at the moment. And another thing is our players feel too comfortable. There are 7-8 players.
Yes, that's a good point.
Sure that they will start the next game.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how they play, they have their safe place in the starting lineup. And that's a problem of the squad depth. Look at Chelsea. I know we shouldn't talk too much about them, but makes 6, 7, 8 changes every game. From game to game, 7 changes. Next game, no matter who the opponent is, she changes 7 positions. We can't do that because the squad depth isn't there and our players feel too comfortable. And in such a tight game against a good opponent, that's a problem. And therefore, we can't blame 1 or 2 players as they were all bad. But this is also, I think this is also a reason. And as I said, the missing squad depth, it's a real point, and we have to see what happens in summer. It must be a big transfer summer for us if we want to be able to compete with the top teams.
And also, sorry, go on. You say it, Richard. I was going to move on to a different point. Go on, speak. Sorry.
I was going to say 100%. We need a big window, but I agree. Players are too comfortable. I mean, Leslie Russo can play terrible, and she'll keep her on the pitch for 90 minutes, regardless of how well she plays. And I can't. And it's not just her. I'm not saying that. I'm not picking on Leslie Russo. I mean, I put a post on the forum after the game, and I'm not picking on Leslie Russo. I'm just saying that no matter how Leslie Russo plays, Rene is reluctant to take her off, even take her off, let alone not stick her in the starting lineup. She plays 90 minutes every single game, and that's not a good thing because she will become too comfortable. Her performances recently have dipped. Okay, she played quite well against Everton, which we'll come on to, but up until then, her performances over 3 or 4 previous games have dipped. There's no doubt she was struggling to score goals. She wasn't having the impact she had done. But despite, I'm not saying you should just throw someone out of the team straight away because they have a bad game, but she's on the pitch for 90 minutes regardless. She's not the only one. There's a few players in there. Some maybe you can say should be on the pitch for 90 minutes, maybe Leah Williamson, for example. But I don't know, as a forward, when you're losing a game or it's not going your way, they're the changes that you make. You don't make defensive changes when you're losing a game. It's pointless. You make attacking changes, don't you? And to me, sometimes take Leslie off, put Stina on, put Stina in that position on her own. Play them both together sometimes, play Stina up there on her own sometimes, take Leslie off and put Mariona in the number 10. Do something a bit different, change it up. And she's reluctant to do that. And I agree. I think it's because there's certain players in the team. She's going to pick them anyway. She's just going to pick them because they're her favourite players. And that isn't the way you win trophies. It isn't the way you win games. You've got to be ruthless. Football's a ruthless sport, unfortunately. And we all get sentimental about the players, this, that, and the other. We've got our own favourite players that we want to see playing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a ruthless game. The manager's got to pick a team to win a game. If they're not winning the game, you've got to change it. And most of the changes are going to come in the attacking area of the pitch, aren't they? Because that's where you need to score goals if you're losing the game. But I totally agree with you. I do think it is too comfortable. And Renee, maybe because she was the coach before, she was the player's friend. And I think it's difficult to go from being a player's friend to then being their manager and having to manage them. And I think that's the transition that she's struggling with. I think tactically she's learning, and I don't necessarily think that she won't get that right. She's got it right in big games previously. But I think it's more that transition between being the, Jonas was the manager. Jonas was like maybe good cop and bad cop to a certain degree with the players. And I think they turned to Renee because maybe, she was a woman, first of all, and I think that's important. And also because maybe they felt they could speak to her more about these sort of things. And now she's a manager. I think it's difficult to change that dynamic. And that's maybe what she's struggling with a little bit now, because the players treat her as a friend almost. And you've got to have that. I think you've got to have that distance and that respect for your manager as opposed to being friends with them. And I think maybe that's the problem with certain players. And that's maybe why we're seeing what we're seeing now. And Renee's got to change it. She's the only one who can change that. How she does it, I don't know, because it's difficult. But I don't know. I think that could be a problem going forward. But we'll have to see. Now, go on, Emma. What was it? You said you wanted to obviously change track.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I know it's a good point you guys raised. I was going to say, okay, I know Everton are not the most glamorous opposition. We look at the way the game was. We'll touch on it later. But she made the 4 changes when the game was, and ultimately we dominated that half. It's now about trying to incorporate that into bigger games. Let's see if it happens like against the likes of Real Madrid and Chelsea and Manchester City and other teams that are going forward. But you can see how much better the team played when she made that quadruple change on Friday, and we totally dominated the game. Okay, it was on Everton. I'm not saying no disrespect to Everton, but now it's about trying to do that against better opposition overall. And let's see what happens. I think we need about 3 or 4 players, I would say, in the summer, and she has to maybe give the opposition a bit more to think about and not always relying on those players, as you say, that seem comfortable in their roles. And subbing them off if they're not having good games. That's ultimately the part of being a master tactician in this difficult business of ours, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. It's a tough job being a manager. It's a tough job, and it's not a job that many people can do, or not many people can do well, and that's the key, isn't it? And we're Arsenal. We need to have someone doing that job who can do it well. And I'm not saying Renee can't. I just think she's got to learn quickly. She's got to learn from her mistakes quickly, and she's got to put it right, because she doesn't have a lot of time. She's got until the end of next season as things stand. But if next season starts badly again, and if we're not even in the Champions League, and if maybe we start badly in the league, the pressure's on. The pressure will be on, So she hasn't got time. LG says, I feel if things don't work out for Renee, the club will be adamant to bring in a male coach because of gender discrimination issues. Hence why they've always hired male coaches. Well, I don't see it as a gender discrimination thing. I think that generally, maybe in football, whether it's men's football or women's football, historically men have been better managers. You look at the top managers. Okay, you've got.
Oh, he's gone again. Oh, he's gone again.
It's always there's some critical words. Then YouTube says, "Oh."
Okay, time for another refresh.
Yeah, let's hope he will come back. Everybody's watching. I'm the same position as you. I'm waiting for the boss to come back and hope Richard can solve his problems. Yeah. We were discussing the situation about Rene, and yeah, I think the summer transfer window will be very important, and it will be her first real transfer window, as in January she was she came too late to be the permanent manager to have a real influence on the transfer window in winter. So the summer window will be interesting, but yeah, what I said, the squad depth is missing, and we were missing alternatives for the attacking line, for the offense. And yeah, someone asked, what about Rosa? There's the boss again.
He's back. He's back.
I don't know. Yeah, there seems to be some issue. It's either my laptop or it's my camera or it's some issue, because it's happened in a few of the games lately as well. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully it won't happen again. But we shall see. I'm hoping that it doesn't, because it's quite annoying. It is quite annoying. But no, I mean, obviously, Rene. I don't think. Going back to the gender discrimination point that LG made before, I don't think that's necessarily an issue. I think that what Arsenal should be doing is hiring the best manager that's available. And I think that's what we've tried to do. And I don't necessarily think it's because they look at it, we don't want a female manager. And if Rene doesn't work, we won't get another female manager. At the end of the day, I would take Emma Hayes, and I'm sure the club would take Emma Hayes. And I'm sure they would. And that would be nothing to do with anything else, would it? And, because she's the best out there still at this moment in time. She is. So, I think we should get her, and I'm sure that if we could, we would. And maybe we can in 18 months' time. Who knows? Maybe when Rene's contract's up, maybe it will be
not before the next World Cup. I don't think. Not before the next World Cup.
And there'll be a few people that will be quite happy about that, I'm sure. Greg says, as always, trophies don't matter. It's just qualifying for Champions League. We've got to get a ball to want trophies. Well, no, I agree with that, and that's the club, isn't it, in general? Yeah. And I agree with that. That's definitely the case. John, so I remember in the start of the season, people were hyping Kafaji.
Yes, that's a good point. Well, very good point.
She's proved she's not been good enough yet, hasn't she, when she's played? So, she's got a lot to learn. And that's why she's not been playing. And that's the way it is, really, isn't it? Matthew says, managers still only offer a temporary effect. Ancelotti at Everton, Ancelotti at Real Madrid. Players make a real difference. Well, no, they do, but why have a manager then? Managers are there because they've got to manage the players. They've got to tactically, they've got coaches to help them, but they've got to tactically plan the games. They've got to lift players that need lifting. They've got to bring players down to earth that need bringing down to earth. The manager's job is really, really important. And if you've got the wrong person doing it, you're not going to get the results, regardless of what players you've got. You could have the best 11 players in the world in their positions. And if you're not a good enough manager, you won't be able to get the right results on the pitch. It's so much. Or you could equally have 11 players that aren't nowhere near the best players in the world. And you can win every trophy if you're a great manager that can get the best out of them and play to their strengths. Look at the game yesterday, Newcastle, Liverpool in the cup final. You can look at the players. I think Liverpool had the better team in terms of players, but Newcastle won because tactically they were better on the day. And that's what a manager brings. The players have got to carry it out on the pitch, absolutely. But what do they do in training? They're practicing and working on these things. The manager is key. Newcastle won that game yesterday because their manager got it tactically right and Liverpool's manager didn't. So the managers are key. And it's the same with us. Yeah. Liverpool beat us on that particular day because the Liverpool manager got it right tactically and their game plan was better than ours. And that's down to the manager. The players have got to execute it, absolutely. But if the game plan's wrong to start with, the players can do everything they're told. It's not going to work.
No.
So managers, that's why managers get paid the big money and the players get paid big money in the men's game, but the women, they don't. But the managers get paid big money because they are the ones that make the difference. You win or lose trophies and you win or lose big games because of your manager. And the manager picks the players at the end of the day as well, don't they? So, WSL Analytics says she can't take Russo. You don't take off the player who's most likely to score. Similar to Saka, for instance, even if he's having a bad game, you can't take him off as he can make things
happen. He's out for
but there's some games when you have to. Some games you have to because it's not working. If it's not working, you've got to change it. And there's been games for the men where I agree, Saka never gets taken off either. And sometimes he should. He should get taken off sometimes. Not all the time. In some games, when it's not working, take him off and try something else. that's what you've got. As a manager, you've got to be brave, and these are brave decisions. And sometimes you've got to make brave decisions if you're going to be successful. You can't just go safe all the time. Well, I'm going to keep Saka on because he might score. You could say that 5 games in a row. Well, I'll keep him on because he hasn't scored for the last 4, so he's bound to score today. That's not how you manage a team.
No,
you look at it and say, I'm sorry, mate, you're not playing well enough. I'm going to try something different in this game, or I'm going to change it 70 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it is. That's what a good manager does. Jose Mourinho used to make 3 changes at half time because he wasn't happy with what he saw.
Well,
he was winning stuff. You know what I mean? That's what you have to do sometimes. I'm not saying that's what you have to do all the time, but you've got to get that balance, haven't you? Matthew says, need to clear out most of the veterans. They are being out. Well, no, I agree. There's a lot of players that need to be cleared out. Well, not a lot. There's a few that need to be cleared out this summer, absolutely. Joe says, to be fair, Rene went all in with 4 subs at once. Impacts. Maybe she's learning quickly. Yeah, I think the circumstances that were slightly different. We'll come on to that in a minute, actually. But yeah, obviously she did make all them changes, and suddenly we were a different team. Terry says Stina is our best finisher. Russo is the money name because she's English.
Because the other night.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think Stina is our best finisher. I think Russo is a better player all round, of course, but yeah, maybe she's more Russo is more popular. There's no doubt about that. Greg says if Stina is our best finisher, we've got major problems. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she is our best finisher. Anyway, Terry says, Greg, we have got big problems. Well, we've got problems. I won't say they're big problems. Matthew says, and the first thing that Emma would do is change the player. Well, she'd change some of them. Of course she would. She'd get players in that she wants, because that's what managers do, don't they? Managers bring in players that they think are going to improve the team and play their style of football. So of course you get, but all managers do, don't they? All managers bring in new players. That's the whole point of bringing a new manager in, really, isn't it? Because you want them to bring their own ideas, and with that comes new players. Matthew says Newcastle wanted it more. Yeah, why did they want it more? Because that's how they were set up. That's how the manager drilled into them in training. This is what it means. And yeah, some of the players would like that anyway, but I don't know. I think, yes, the players are important, but the manager, Ag says Isaac. Well, of course, yeah, Isaac made the difference, as he always does. But anyway, there you go. Terry's agreeing with Greg, and why shouldn't we? And says the players can't be changes immediately. No, you're right. We can't do finances. Yeah, of course, you can only bring in what you can bring in, but you've got to try, haven't you? Matthew says that's why I gave the Ancelotti at Everton example. He didn't win. But put him in Real, different story. It's players first. Well, it's not just that, though, is it? Yes, players make a difference, but the managers are responsible for it all. Greg said, I think the finances are there if the board wasn't so greedy. Look at Chelsea. They don't get half the fans in we do, but they spend big everything. Exactly, yeah. It's what you want to spend the money on, isn't it? We've got the money. Absolutely. I'll say there's no point selling out the Emirates if we're not going to strengthen the team. There's no point. We might as well play in front of 2,000 fans. Joe says, this summer will show us how serious Arsenal are about the women's team. True. Absolutely. Unless they give a big budget, we'll still be playing 6 or so. Yeah, we will. You're right, absolutely. And we're never going to win anything if that's the case. Oh, we're not the big trophies anyway. Terry says, this says it all to me. Chelsea fans singing 65 million out of your bank, Kai Havertz. Yeah, exactly. But, you know,
but he's injured, unfortunately.
Club issue, isn't it? That is a club issue. Ag says, what's wrong with 30 plus players? Well, if they can't run and they keep getting tackled and losing the ball and can't run back, then it's a problem, isn't it?
Well, if we could have Steph Catley's, that would be good. I'm joking.
I don't think that's our only problem, but it's a bit of a problem. And we have got a very old squad in terms of average age, and that needs to come down over the next few years. It has to. Otherwise, we're in big trouble, aren't we? Anyway, Liverpool wasn't good. We didn't enjoy it. It was terrible. We're knocked out of the competition that we like to win, or haven't waited for ages. So Friday night was a strange one because it was all a little bit of a flat atmosphere after the Liverpool game. Everyone was still a bit down in the dumps. Playing on a Friday night is never great. And, of course, Everton have been a bit of a bogey team for us as well. We'd drawn the previous 2 games against them. So it wasn't a game that was filling me with a great deal of confidence, I have to say, or a great deal of excitement. But as it turned out, it wasn't a bad game at all. And of course, Leslie Russo decided to prove me wrong, saying she shouldn't start every game. And she gets the 2 goals that win us the game. So, you know, Rene was right about that one on this particular occasion. But, I mean, it was a strange game in many ways, wasn't it? Because I thought we played well at times. We gave Everton a goal back, which was sloppy. And we had a few sloppy moments as well throughout the game. And in the end, of course, as we mentioned before, 4 substitutions in one go. Wow. Have we ever done that before? I can't remember it. And anyway, of course, within moments of that happening, we regained the lead. And yes, we should have won a bit more comfortably in the end. We had lots of chances. Their goalie played well, actually. Why the goalies always play well against us, by the way? Every single goalie we come up against plays well against us. They let in 10 goals against Chelsea. Everything goes through their legs, in their hands. They throw them in their own net. They play against us, and they're like the best goalkeeper ever. Every single team we play. But anyway, maybe that's down to our finishing. I'm not sure. But the goalie played well for Everton. You have to give her credit. She had a decent game. And in the end, we got the 3 points, which was so important. But it was quite frustrating for a while, wasn't it? When it was 1-1 and I don't know, we were huffing and puffing a bit. We had a lot of the ball sideways quite a lot. Wasn't maybe putting the ball in the box. And then Renee had enough and she made the changes. But to me, I think those changes were made looking at the Champions League game as opposed to that game in isolation.
Possibly.
I don't think she would have made all them changes at that time if we wasn't playing Real Madrid on Tuesday. Personally, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she looked at it and didn't like what she saw, and but she's never done it before. And suddenly we've got a Champions League game coming up, so she thinks I'm going to rest 4 players, and I don't know if that was a reason, but that's what I thought about it. It worked, so we don't care because it got us the result that we needed. I mean, Andres, what did you make of the Everton game? Because it was a bit of a strange one, wasn't it? We played well at times. We were sloppy at times. We could have won more comfortably, but equally we could have thrown points away.
Yeah, I mean, we had the lead, and then we throw it away by losing the ball. I think it was Leo Welty who lost it very easy, and we defended totally bad this situation, and then when it's 1-1 and you are away, it's a difficult situation. But I think it's a WSL reaction from Renee. She made earlier subs in other games, and it was not the first time that she took Kim and Leah out at the same time. So that's why I said I think she has a problem with these knockout games where she does not know how to react or how to bring in subs. It was the right decision to make these subs, and they changed the game. We dominated from that moment on, and we were lucky with the second goal that Maren Mjelde had her feet on the ball. But anyway, she was under pressure to react, and then sometimes these mistakes from defenders happen. But in the last 30 minutes, we dominated the game and deserved the win. And there should have been a third or fourth goal before Leslie's 2 minutes before the end. So in the end, it was fully deserved, and this time it was a good management from Renee. That it won't be the easiest game. This was quite clear after the Liverpool game, because everybody would have had this in mind, and we have to turn things around. We have to win there. We need the 3 points. It's difficult. There was pressure on the whole team, and so I think, overall we can be satisfied with the result and the 3 points, and it was a lot better than against Liverpool. Not perfect or not as good as we want our team to be, but it was better, and we can hope that we are on a better way now again, and with a win, with the self-confidence of being back on second position in the table. I hope that the team will perform in Madrid.
I mean, it was good to get the result, absolutely. And you're right, it wasn't an Arsenal performance that we'll look back on and think, wow, what a great game. It wasn't. We got the job done. And sometimes that's what you've got to do. I always say every week, I'll take a scrappy 1-0 if you like every single week, because it means you get the win, and that's what matters. But yeah, I thought it was a very, very bitty performance. Good moments, bad moments. But in the end, we got the job done, and we had to win, quite honestly. We had to win that game. And as it turned out, Man United lost, which actually made it even better for us, because we jumped up to second place, which obviously is a big, massive place to be at this point in the season, I suppose. But yeah, the performance didn't fill me with much confidence going into Tuesday, which we'll come on to. But at least we got the win, and we should have scored more goals. I mean, what did you make of Friday? Because a win's a win at the end of the day, isn't it? And we have to be pleased with any win that we get.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good watching. It was one of the most one-sided halves of football you'd ever see. If you look at the stats, I think we had something like 9 shots on target out of like 16 or something, and like 68% of the ball from what I was checking. But yeah, I mean, that should be the bench. But I know Everton's a tough side. We had that really poor draw with them early in the season, and at the back end of last season. Now we have to have that. Still have to have that killer instinct. I know it took us till the 89th minute to finish them off, but I mean, Steen had 2 good chances. Steph hit the bar, hit the post. We should still need to be more clinical going in front of goal. I feel going forward, we could have had like 7 or 8 goals. Yes, Everton never looked like scoring. I mean, Manu, as you like to call her, the statue sometimes. Sorry to say, she had absolutely nothing to do. She was just being a spectator the whole game. So let's see. I mean, yeah, it was good to watch. Yeah, thanks to YouTube once again for cutting out the live stream, and I missed the first goal, which was absolutely brilliant. But oh, that was absolutely pathetic. But anyway, I saw there was lovely build up, and yeah, the second goal was just it's got to be a bit better. Got to be more reactive, get the ball away. But again, had the numbers round, but they all got in each other's way. And Manu, I think it was Leah, might have gone in Manu's way and prevented her from making the save. But I don't know. We absolutely dominated the second half, but we still need to finish teams off quicker. And if we take those chances against Real Madrid, well, if we can be more clinical against Real Madrid, then we should be able to beat them, which we'll come on to. But no, yeah, it's 4 wins in a row now, up to second. Okay, I mean, it's unlikely Chelsea's going to, and they only need to win, was it 4 out of their last 6 games? But you never know. I mean, 4 points ahead of 4th place now in the ahead of Manchester City. So that's a good cushion to have. And hopefully we can secure Champions League football for next season.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Man City are playing Chelsea next as well in the league, so potentially they could drop points there. So if we can win and next league game, which won't be easy against Liverpool, of course, then that would put us in a really strong position. And
very good position.
Sometimes a performance doesn't matter. Sometimes it's about winning the game, isn't it? I thought Friday, the only thing that really mattered was winning that game.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford not to with the Liverpool result straight before. If we had failed to beat Everton, then the season could have started to fall apart very, very quickly. But we managed to get there, and we didn't play badly. I thought we were a bit sloppy at times. That was all, and it wasn't really until we made the changes that suddenly we looked a little bit of a better team. Really, the team that we expect us to be. Greg makes a good point. He says we played better on a half decent playing surface. Yeah, obviously the pitch looked better, didn't it? At Wharton Hall Park, the pitch looked all right, and we've managed to find passes on it, which we couldn't at Meadow Park when the pitch was all over the place. So yeah, that made a difference. LG says we need to get rid of those 2 8-year-old pensioners in midfield.
They're not pensioners. They're not pensioners.
We can't have them both playing together. I don't think it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Man.
And yeah,
oh my god,
we need to move away from them. You're right, absolutely, and I'm sure we will as things move forward. El Loco says, does anyone know why DVD wasn't in the team Friday?
Concussion.
She had a mental breakdown after Liverpool. That was concussion she had, apparently.
She's missing the Madrid game as well, I think. Yeah, she's missing the Madrid game as well.
Maybe they use a concussion as a cover-up. I don't know. They said it was a concussion.
No, they can't. I think she was,
what confused me about that was they said it was a concussion that occurred during the Liverpool game. Well, if you've got a concussion, you have to come off. Well, why did she play on?
Yeah,
if she had a concussion in the game, she would have had to have come off, and she didn't. So to me, I don't think she got a concussion in the Liverpool game. Otherwise, she would have had to go off. So I don't know. Have they used them? I don't know where you've heard the rumor about the mental breakdown. I've not heard that. She obviously was. She wasn't in a very good state at the end of the game, was she? We saw how upset she was due to her performance in the goal. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate on anything like that. I find it strange that you've got a concussion that they said was in the game. Was it who else was it had a concussion that they got in training? Was it Leah Williamson a while ago?
Yeah, you might be right. That's right. Yeah.
But we don't know because it happened in training. It could have done. We never know. But when you say it's in a game, if it's in a game, you've got to go off if you have concussion in a game. You can't play on. It's not allowed. No. So I find that strange. I do find that a little bit strange. But we have to believe what the club's telling us. Why would they lie? I mean, what have they got to gain by lying to us? It's not that they've ever lied to us before, is it? But anyway, Terry says, to be honest, half our team should apply for PIP before considering Rachel from account stop it. Yeah, maybe they need to. Yeah, a couple of them do. Absolutely. If Andreas doesn't know, PIP is like a disability payment that we give to
personal independence. Yeah, that's
personal independence payment. Yeah, it's just something that we have in this country for people that if you have trouble getting about because you can't walk very well. So
I mean, if it was enough to rule her out of the Real Madrid game, then it's got to be pretty serious. So if it happened, I think maybe I read somewhere on X. There wasn't many sources on it. They said she suffered it after the Liverpool game. So maybe I don't know if she suffered it in the Liverpool game, then automatically you would have to substitute. I remember a few years ago, was it Hugo Lloris carried on playing for Spurs many years ago in a game at Goodison Park, and they didn't take him off. If it happened in game, they would have almost certainly known with the protocols these days to take her off. So
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, my guess is that it happened after the Liverpool game.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't know, but obviously they're talking about her missing the Real Madrid game. But if she's not if she's not in the right mental place to play, then obviously she's not going to play, regardless of whether it's a concussion or not, I suppose. If you're a goalkeeper in particular, if your mind's not right because you're still upset from what happened in the game before or whatever it might be, you're not ready to play, are you, as a goalkeeper, or anywhere. So I don't know. We can't speculate on it, but it's an interesting. I hadn't even heard that rumor, but there you're saying it. I'm kind of thinking, is there something in that potentially? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we love Daphne. Whatever's wrong with her, whatever it is, we hope that she's back playing as soon as possible, but we don't know, do we? El Loco says, luckily, Man U got smashed in the league. We should start second place now and confirm Champions League. Well, let's hope we do, and it's in our hands now, isn't it? We're second. We've
got to play them last game of the season. We've got to play them last game of the season.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be already 4 points above them by then. But we just need to win our games, don't we? Let's be honest. There you go. Greg says we've got a midfield who can apply their bus. See, that's another thing we get in England that Andreas probably doesn't know about. When you get to 65, you get a free bus pass.
I don't know what it's like in Germany, but maybe something similar.
They probably do. I don't know if they do, but anyway, we get free bus passes, which it used to be. I remember when I was a kid and used to, obviously the old people used to get a free bus pass, and I used to think as a kid, wow, that's brilliant. You can go on a bus all day for free. And now it's like, why would you want to go on the bus? I don't want a free bus pass because I don't want to go on the bus. But anyway, that's different. Jill says Daphne has. Well, that's what they're telling. No, see, she banged her head. The match to have gone off, wouldn't she? The match to have taken her off, and they didn't, so she couldn't have done it. She couldn't have done that. She couldn't have done because she's about to get taken off. So I don't think that's the case. I mean, she may well have a concussion from something, but it wasn't from anything that happened in that game. It can't have been. Greg says that's what we want. We don't want Manu to have shot.
Come on, you're being too harsh for Manu.
Ideally, that's what we want. Exactly. Keeper. 110 volts says I'm sure Kim is acutely aware of her role is right now and getting forward. Age comes to us all. Age does come to us all, but then most of us don't want to continue playing at the top level when we shouldn't be, because we know when to call it a day, and maybe Kim should have called it a day and she hasn't, and I'm a bit concerned about that. But let her be coach. That's what she should be. She should be a coach, not a player. El Loco says not fair to call Leon not 80-year-old. We're more to the team than Lena Herzig and Amanda. Well, no, man. I think it's obviously it's just a joke, isn't it? Just saying how old they are in comparison, and we've got younger midfield players that offer more that maybe should be playing, and I'm sure Vicky will play when she's fit, but we shall see. Matthew says it was in training. Well, it could have been, but they said it was in the Liverpool game. They actually announced that, didn't they? So I don't know. It's all a bit strange, actually. But anyway, she can't play, and that's it. So let's hope she's better soon. Greg says the defence know they have to play better with Manu in goal. They can't rely on her like they can.
Give her a chance, though. Give her a chance.
Maybe they do. Terry says, I heard in Leah's case, the piano lid.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God. Who comes up with this shit, honestly? Sorry.
Many players have had concussion and diagnosed after games. Well, yeah, I suppose, but I don't know.
Anyway, shall we move on to Madrid?
I'm not convinced, but anyway. Terry says 50p Red Bus Rover. I remember the 50p Red Bus Rover, yeah. Are they still going, are they? Probably not. It won't be 50p, will it? Probably like £5 now. I do remember them, actually, when I was living in London. All this stuff that it's going over Andreas' head. He's like, what on earth are you going on about? He hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. But it used to be like a little ticket. You could get a bus all day for 50p. Brilliant, all around London and that.
Who needs 2 30-year-olds in midfield when you got two really good really good people doing the show? So it's good, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we can get a 50p bus part, 50p on the bus. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, we beat Everton, and that was the only thing that really mattered. Yes, it would have been lovely to have seen a flowing, lovely performance, but in the circumstances, I guess that was probably never going to happen.
It's all about that W.
It's just getting those 3 points, which we did, and a few positives to come out of the game, a few negatives, but we're always going to get that, aren't you? But no one now is bothered about Everton because we've done the job. It's over. What is important now is what is coming up tomorrow night. By this time tomorrow, because it's early kickoff, we will know how this game has gone. The first leg, Champions League quarter-final. It is the first of 2 between Arsenal and Real Madrid. Well, what a few weeks it's going to be. So Champions League quarter-final, always exciting. The knockout stage of the Champions League is where it's at. The group stage is all right, but it's a bit dull. The knockouts is where it happens. And, I think when the draw was made, I think we're all pretty happy, really, with how the draw worked out. We've got Real Madrid, and it's not like in the men's team, this Real Madrid team haven't got that kind of, that aura around them. But they're a decent team. They're second in the league to Barcelona. They've only lost 2 games in the league all season. And okay, that league's not as strong, but they're not a bad side. It's not going to be an easy game that we're just going to go there and expect to win. I think we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to defend properly, and hopefully, if we can get some chances, we need to take some of them, and then we need to get a positive result to take back to the Emirates because, it's going to be tough. I mean, Andreas, do you know too much about Real Madrid? Obviously, we know that they're pretty strong in the Spanish league after Barcelona, but I mean, does that mean too much in the overall scheme of things, looking at the league?
That's the question. I mean, we all say the Spanish league is not as competitive as the WSL, and of course, it's only Barcelona dominating year after year, and they won in the Spanish Cup 5-0 away at Madrid. Real Madrid is the second best team there, but on international level, they have not reached any semifinal. They went out last year, I think early, and this year in group stage they lost both games against Chelsea. So, from the possible opponents, this was the best draw for us. But of course, don't underestimate them. Bring the respect against this team. And I just checked their squad. I mean, there are a few names we know in defense. There's Olga Carmona, a Spanish international. Their strongest part is the midfield with Caroline Weir. Melanie Leupolz, the German international, who was 3 years at Chelsea, I think. Philippa Angelthal, she also played in the WSL, and in the attacking line, Signe Brun, Norwegian international or Danish international. We were after her. There were rumors that we wanted to sign her. Alba Redondo, and of course Linda Caicedo, the most talented young Colombian players. So there are a few good names, and players who can hurt you, who can be dangerous. So what I said, don't underestimate them. They are playing at home, and I don't expect us to come home with a 3 or 4-0 win. If we can take a draw or 1-0 or 2-1 win, I would really be satisfied. But don't lose there. That everything is to be played for at the Emirates next week. I think we are the favorites in this draw, in this duel, but it won't be a piece of cake. And
it's not going to be a piece of cake.
If we take a draw or a small win, then I would be very, very satisfied, because we are in a position where is a lot of pressure on us. It's the only competition where we can win something, and we know how difficult it will be to win the Champions League. But first we have to solve the first step. That's Real Madrid, and then look at the way to the final. I'm not over optimistic, but I think we can win 2-1 there. Chelsea won in Madrid, so why not? Why not? We have such a good squad and such a good team. And remember what we did in Lyon when everybody said 2 or 3 years ago, we have no chance against Olympique Lyon. We won there 5-1. So yeah, we won 4-0 in Turin at Juventus Turin. So why not? Let's be optimistic, and our optimism will come to the team, and I say we'll win 2-1.
I mean, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Like you said, a draw or a narrow win would be amazing to take back to the Emirates, because we would be in such a good position to go through. But I mean, obviously you mentioned Lyon and Juventus, and they were fantastic away performances in the Champions League, but they were both group games, and I do think knockouts are a different kettle of fish. The whole dynamic of a two-leg knockout game is different to a group game. I'm not dismissing those two performances, because they were fantastic, two of our best performances in Europe for a long, long time. But I do think that in the knockout stage is different to the group stage, and I don't expect we can go and produce a performance like that in a knockout. That'd be great if we did, but in a way, and I know it would be great if we were to go to Madrid tomorrow and win 4-0, whatever it was, that would be great. But having seen the men win 7-1 in a first leg, it just makes the second leg pointless, and I don't want a pointless second leg. I want a second leg they've got a little bit of jeopardy involved in it. I'm not saying I want us to go out, of course not, but I'd rather we win 2-1 tomorrow then we win 4-0, because if we win 4-0 it makes next week's game pointless, and I don't like pointless games. All games should be important, mean something. And I hope it's still alive after the first leg, but I hope we're in control and it's in our hands and we've won the game and we're in a strong position. But I mean, obviously if we win 4-0 tomorrow we'll all be happy, I suppose, won't we? Let's be honest. Greg says we've got to come away with at least a 3-0 win. Well, we don't have to come away with a 3-0 win, do we, to go through? I can't imagine us losing by 2 goals. Anyway, 110 Volts says I'll take a draw away and settle the title. Yeah, I think we all would. Absolutely. There's no worries about that at all. We've got CFC Riley's there, my friend. He says you'll beat them easily. They lose their heads and also known to bottle it. Yeah, but unfortunately so are we. But let's hope that we don't bottle this particular one. But I'm fairly confident that over 2 legs we've got too much for them. I agree. I kind of think we have. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I've got a feeling there could be 2 quite close games, but we should be able to come out on top. Terry says, if we don't buck our ideas up, we're going out. Well, obviously, if we don't play well, we're going out. Obviously, it's Champions League. Of course it is. We've got to play well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Joe says the Spanish league is a joke. Let's get after a couple of Barca players in the summer.
Let's get players.
Mariola might be able to convince you, mightn't she? Because she's come over to the WSL. She knows how competitive it is. And she seems to be enjoying herself, don't she? So let's see. Aggie's gone Real 1, Arsenal 2 as well. Yeah, that's a fair enough score, isn't it? We'll take that all day long. We would love that. That'd be great. I mean, Emma, what are you expecting them from tomorrow? Obviously, it's Champions League. It's a big game. It's what it's all about. Quarter final. It's massive, really, isn't it? We need to get through and see what we can do.
Well, as you said, when the draw came out, I think it was probably the best one we would have wanted, rather than getting it. We could have go Wolfsburg, or we didn't want to have to face Manchester City again, having faced them enough times already this season. But yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to play in a historic club known for all the success it's had. Yeah, the women's team is good to see them doing well. We'll come up against familiar opponents in likes of Liverpool and Caroline Weir, as we said, and you've got the likes of Del Castillo, you've got Angel Dahl, and who were the other ones you were mentioning as well? There's quite a few. Senior Brun is another one we've come up against in the past as well. So let's see. It won't be an easy game, but they're not in a great form. I was just looking up the form guide. They got absolutely battered by Barcelona 8-1 over 2 legs in the Spanish Cup. Okay, well, we're not Barcelona, and they're not coming into it in great form. Our away form, they were saying we've won 6 out of the last 7, scoring at least 3 goals in half those games. So whilst we may not be so good at home as we've seen in recent weeks in the cups, our away form has been great, and the only defeat I believe has come to Chelsea, hasn't it? Since Brené took over. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing game. It's a 5:45. I believe it's on DAZN as well as TNT Sports. it won't be an easy game. But the way that, and then they also drew 2-2 with Deportivo at the weekend, and 7 points off the pace in the domestic league. So I'm actually feeling confident. If we can find our shooting which is being a bit more clinical, I think I know we don't want to see like we saw in the men's game with 7-1, but they can ease off in the second leg. I mean, men's game gets called 4 games in the space of what is it? A month, isn't it, against Real Madrid? So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I'm actually feeling confident. I think we go there. We'll win 3-1 tomorrow.
Well, that would be nice. I mean, obviously, you're saying that they had a draw with
Deportivo.
But I mean, we lost to Liverpool in the FA Cup 2 weeks ago.
True.
So that they'll probably look at that in that way as well, won't they? They'll be looking at our form, thinking, well, they lost to Liverpool, we've lost to Man City, we've had a few poor performances recently, so we're not exactly coming into it in brilliant form ourselves, are we? But I mean, I do think over 2 legs will be too strong for them. Whatever happens tomorrow, I do think over 2 legs we will go through. It'll be. I wouldn't say it'd be a massive shock in world football, but I think it would be a bit of a shock if we don't go through this particular game, these 2 legs. But football doesn't always work like that, does it? We've seen enough times before. You expect to win a game and you don't. We lost to Birmingham the other season, as we know. Anything can happen in football, but I would be quite surprised if we don't go through. But there you go. Ag says there, Real as the Swede, Angel Dial. She is so good. Not all Swedes are good. Come on, they're not, are they? Let's be honest. If all Swedes were good, they'd have won the World Cup loads of times, wouldn't they? They'd have won everything.
They've come close in the boss. Yeah.
There's some Swedes that are good, and there's some that aren't so good. I mean, Angel Dial was all right at Man City, but she wasn't that great, was she? I'm assuming that's the same one, isn't it? Must be.
Angel Dial,
yeah. So okay, everyone's gone for a win. Everyone's pretty confident. I mean, Grat's gone 4-0. Wow. I mean, that is optimistic, but I love that optimism. I've got to be honest. I do love that.
4-0.
I don't really want a 4-0. I say it ruins the second leg, doesn't it?
Can't you want to use for it?
The second leg. It just makes the second leg a waste of time. And I like games with a bit of jeopardy. It makes it more interesting. As long as we win them, obviously. Greg says, I'd rather see us put the tie out of sight because if it's close at home,
they'll be played at the Emirates, man. We're more comfortable.
Yeah, but at the Emirates, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty decent crowd. I'm not worried about the Emirates. I think we'll win the game at home anyway. But yeah, let's go. Terry says, "Emma, we agree on something at last 3-1." No, Terry going 3-1.
Oh, yeah, that makes it change. I thought it was going to say 8-1.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised. That is a bit conservative for Terry, actually. It's only 3-1. I'm going to say, I'm going to go 2-0. I think we'll win 2-0 over there. And then it does keep a little bit of jeopardy for the second leg, a little bit, because if they score first at the Emirates, then suddenly it's more interesting.
No away goals. There are no away goals.
There's no away goals anyway now, so it doesn't matter about away goals. You just need to get the result over the 2 legs. Yeah. I'm sure we will. I'll say I'm going 2-0 tomorrow, and if it's something like that, then I'm sure we'll win a bit more comfortably at the Emirates with a little bit less pressure, which will be good. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I love the Women's Champions League because it's still got, I think, that little bit of magic. You've got the normal group stage. You go straight into a quarter-final, like the Men's Champions League used to be years ago before they got greedy and wanted to have 50 million games in it. And I kind of like it. It's what the Champions League should be. It's exactly what it should be. There's the right number of teams in it. You get straight to the knockouts and suddenly you've got big games to play and it's exciting and I love it. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and hopefully we'll get the result. I'm not too keen on the kickoff time, a bit early, 5:45. It's a bit, I don't know why they can't play at a normal time, 8 o'clock like everyone else. But anyway, we'll have to take it, won't we? Terry says, I love potatoes. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I must admit. Greg says, let's hope Kim and Walty don't start. My worry is because of the nature of the game and their experience that they probably will start. I'll be quite surprised if they don't, actually. Do you think they'll start, Andreas, those two in midfield tomorrow?
I wouldn't start both together, but I think Rene will start them. And that's another problem against Everton. We brought Lina Hurtig as a sub for Emily Fox as a right back, and Rene afterwards said Lina was training as a right back. So
what?
That's not the solution. You send a right back away on loan to Man City, and then you don't have any cover for
Very good point. Very good point.
And we buy a left back cover with Jenna Nicewanger, and we don't play her. So there are a lot of things that are not going right. And but yeah, let's look for the Real Madrid game and
I must admit, when Lena Hurtig came on and played right back the other night, I was looking at it and it took me 5 minutes to figure it out. I'm thinking, what? And then when I looked at it, I'm thinking, what does that remind me of? It reminds me of playing Mikel Merino up front or Kai Havertz up front. That's what it reminds me of. Playing players in their wrong positions. What is that all about? Why well, the simple solution is play Katie McCabe at right back and put Jenna on at left back. That's the simple solution. The simple solution. Why are you trying to train Lena to become a right back because you've sent our other right back out on loan? I mean, that is just honestly, that's almost a sackable offence on its own. And I hadn't thought about that before. Now you reminded me of it. That was mental. That was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. When Lena Hurtig come on, I assumed she was going to play in a forward position, and suddenly I'm thinking, what? She's actually right back. She's actually brought her on to play right back. And a couple of times she was like a fish out of water. Didn't know what she was doing. Didn't know where she needed to be. And we were only, was it 2-1 still at the time? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like, that was a crazy decision. And had we conceded a goal, because obviously Lena couldn't defend very well, that would be on the manager, that would, 100%, not on the player. I wouldn't have blamed Lena. Wouldn't have blamed Lena at all if she'd made a terrible mistake and they scored, because why would you play her at right back? That is mental. That is actually mental, isn't it? It is mental when you could have just switched Kate McCabe and put. You're right. We bought Jenna Nicewanger. We bought her in. She's played one game in midfield when she was terrible, and she's come on for about 5 minutes in another game, and that's it. What's the point of bringing in a player that you're not going to play? It's crazy. It just makes no sense. And I'm not saying she should play tomorrow because she's not at the level to come in and play. But if we're going to have to, if Emily Fox is only, I don't know, 75, 80% fit, because she may not be, she may not even be fit at all yet. We've seen she's been in training. Hopefully she is. What are we going to do at the right back? If Emily Fox can't play, what do we do? I would play Katie McCabe at right back.
Play back three, maybe. Play back three. I don't know.
Sticking someone else at centre back. I don't know, an actual proper centre back maybe. I don't know if Lotta's not fit, is she?
No, Lotta's not fit. No.
Is Cody not fit either? Because she wasn't even on the bench.
Cody, yes, that's a good point. Yeah,
she's not in the squad in the last games.
No, she wasn't in the squad. No, so I'm assuming she wasn't even fit. So we've got a little bit of an issue. I mean, play Katie Reid there.
Or you could play maybe you could play Amanda right back. I don't know.
No, we need her as number 9.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's our centre forward option if we're losing.
Yeah. Oh dear. But anyway, it's going to be a busy day for you, Andreas. Tomorrow, you're not going to go to watch the game. You're going to the campus to watch our potential semi-final opponents.
Yeah, I'm at the campus for the Bayern Lyon.
Yeah, so you're not going to. Is there nowhere near? I'm just curious. Is there nowhere near there you could watch the Arsenal game potentially, or you just catch the real highlights after?
Yeah, highlights after, and if we win, then I will rewatch.
No, even if we draw or lose, you should always watch.
If we lose, then I will only watch the goals. And
Fair enough.
110 volts says, is there VAR and goal line technology in European competitions? Is there VAR?
There has been VAR in. Yeah, I think there is. Yes, not goal line.
There is. Yeah, there is VAR in the European competition. Yeah, there is. I don't know about goal line technology.
About 3 years. 4 years.
Yeah, I was discussing with someone who is in the staff for Bayern Munich when they decided to play at the campus, and I said, you can't play at the campus. It's a knockout, and you have to have VAR. And
why is it not being played at the Allianz?
And then he said, yes, we have guaranteed the UEFA to have both at the campus, and so I think it's a must have in the knockout stage.
Yeah, and I think it is, because when we played Wolfsburg the other year, when there was about 4 goals disallowed by VAR, wasn't it, in that semi-final? So obviously there is VAR. So but I mean, I suppose it hasn't always been, has there? But was it in the group stage? I don't think there was there? Because some of the games were played in some of the smaller stadiums, wasn't they? So they wouldn't have been.
I don't know. But why is that first leg? Yeah, why is that first leg tomorrow not being played at the Allianz?
Yeah, that's a good question, because they are not brave enough to marketing such a game. When you play against the 9 times Champions League, and you play it in a small stadium with a maximum attendance of 2,500, it's ridiculous.
It is.
But they never play in the Allianz Arena, and of course the players say we want to play at the campus. It's our home advantage there, but it's ridiculous for the fans. I was very lucky to get a ticket, but a lot of really big fans didn't get a ticket because it's limited, 2,500, and it's because of fire restrictions and something like that. Because when you see the game behind the goal, there are only about 50 or 100 people allowed to stand behind the goal, and the other places have to be left free because the fire department didn't allow. It's ridiculous, and that for a team like Bayern Munich.
That's ridiculous.
Champions League quarterfinal in such a small stadium. No.
Yeah, I mean it does seem a bit crazy, I suppose. But I mean, it's funny though, isn't it? Because you've got that situation, and imagine if Bayern Munich were to go further in the competition than us, and we can sell out 60,000 at the Emirates, and they've got 2,000 fans. It's crazy, isn't it? Really. Anyway, Greg says hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not wanting to rush her because she's not going to be able to get back to her level this season. I don't think it's just a matter of getting her some minutes. Do we want to do that in a game that's so important? I would maybe rather see her come on in maybe a WSL game when we're 3-0 up, just to give her some minutes on the pitch, rather than in a game of this importance. I mean, if she is actually fit enough to come on and play, then fair enough. But I don't think she's going to be anywhere near the level yet, because it's an ACL injury, and we've seen how long it's taken the other players to get back to the level. Some of them still haven't maybe managed it. So let's not, Vic's a great player, and I can't wait to see her playing, but I think we need to be patient anyway and not expect to see anywhere near the Vicky Pelova that we know until next season. And I think we're just going to have to accept that and hope that she can play some minutes this season and get back into it slowly. Ag says Lena at the back crazy. It was crazy. We're all laughing really, but it's mad. Terry says leave Lena right back in England. That might be an idea. Joe's gone 2-1 to Arsenal. Manu in goal. Well, that is a worry having Manu in goal. Maybe you're right.
Give a chance. Come on, Manu. We're behind you.
Well, hopefully the ball won't be behind her. 110 volts says, agree, Lena anywhere on the pitch is dubious. Well, it can be.
She scored against Juve.
Yeah, to be fair to Lena, she's had injury problems. She had 1 or 2 other issues since she's been at Arsenal. It's not quite worked out for her. But, anyway, she's still with the club. Greg says, love Lena in another team. I suppose, Greg says, we haven't tried Steve at right back. That's coming tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow she'll play at right back. Who knows? Maybe she will. That would be good, wouldn't it? Ag says, yes, Lena, England don't deserve you. Come back to Ling Chop. Yeah, you can take her. Take her. That's fine. We don't mind. We'll accept that. We will accept that. Greg says, it will be 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. They could bring Vic on. Well, hopefully, if that's the case, then bring her on tomorrow if they're 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. I've got no problem with it. I'm just not sure we will be, if I'm honest. But let's see. I mean, if she's fit and she can come on, let's get her on the pitch. But don't expect her to suddenly be the Vic we saw last season, because that's not happening, I'm afraid, this season, unfortunately. She needs a bit more time. But anyway, let's see what happens. She's not going to start the game, we know that. I think it will be Leah Volti and Kim Little, unfortunately. And I think we're going to have a double pivot.
Maybe Kyra.
I don't know. I've got a feeling it'll be those two and maybe Frida Marnham, because that tends to be Rene's go-to midfield generally, isn't it? And then Mariona, Leslie, and probably Chloe Kelly on the right, I would imagine, instead of Beth, probably. That's probably what I can see that happening myself. But let's see. Let's see what the team will be. But either way, we could have, shouldn't we? And we can hopefully look forward to a nice second leg to come at the Emirates, which is a much better kickoff time as well, which is even better, because that early kickoff, it's no good for me, I'm afraid. I just can't be doing an early kickoff like that.
No, it makes sense,
Greg says a half-fit Vic is better than a fully fit Kim. Well, I don't know about that. But I don't think playing a half-fit Vic's a good idea when she's just back from an injury. She needs to be right before she's the sort of player that she is. You know, she's a little terrier in there. She wants to get in tackles and she wants to put herself in about. And I don't know. I just think it'd be better for her to be fitter before we play her. I mean, I can totally understand tomorrow if Leah Volti and Kim play because of their experience. And I think that is why they will play. Will it necessarily be the right decision? I guess the result of the game and how the game goes is going to determine that, I suppose, like any game really. But I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see Kyra in there because I think she gives us more energy. And
yes.
Yeah, been playing so well. I would play Leah Volti and Kyra if it was me. That's what I would do. But I've got a feeling it will be Kim and Leah, unfortunately. But anyway, let's see. As long as we win the game, I don't suppose we care too much, do we?
No.
Now, of course, we do have a big game next weekend as well on Saturday against Liverpool. But are we going to be able to do a show on Friday? Because I've got a feeling Andreas isn't going to be here, are you? Because you're going to be flying somewhere over.
I'm in Portugal, so I don't know. I'm flying. I'm going on holiday on Wednesday, so I don't know.
Oh.
I'm flying on Friday evening, so
maybe Thursday. We could try. No, but Thursday you got your five-a-side, haven't you?
Well, I mean, Thursday's probably not a great night at the minute for me, to be honest. I was going to do a show last Thursday, but in the end, things there's too much. I've got too much going on. Even Monday was difficult today to get a show in, but we couldn't not do it because there's a big game tomorrow and we haven't done a show for a while. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll have, maybe Friday we'll have to see what we can do. Maybe do some videos or something, Andreas. The way forward, we can get that sorted, and at least we can put a show on for you. Obviously, we look back on the Real Madrid game. Hopefully, a good result. Look ahead to Liverpool, and then obviously the second leg as well, which is coming up next week, isn't it, at the Emirates? So it's a busy time at the minute, isn't it? There's lots of games, which is good. It's exciting, isn't it? It's what we want. And hopefully we can get some good results, and that's what we want as well, and keep the excitement building as we move towards the crucial point in the season where everything gets decided. The top three is looking good now after Friday's result. You know, we've got a quarter-final of the Champions League. You know, we've been moaning a bit about some of the performances, and is Renee the right one, all this, that, the other, and having two old-age pensioners in midfield. But we've still got a lot of excitement to come, haven't we? We've got, we're battling away for that top three. That's looking good for us now. And I say we've got this Champions League, and you have to say we've got a great chance of being in that semi-final if we can turn up, get these two games won, and it's going to be exciting, isn't it? Greg says, how about doing a show Saturday morning when they've got Wi-Fi in Portugal? Do they only have Wi-Fi on a Saturday morning in Portugal?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check.
Saturday morning is no good because I'm not here on a Saturday morning, because if I'm not playing football, I'm doing a park run. So Saturday mornings are no good for me. Can't be doing shows.
Might have to be Monday again. I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know. Well, we'll try and do it for Friday. I'll just get some videos up. We'll be fine. Grat says Hurtig will shine next season, turning all those negatives. We keep saying that for the last 3 seasons, haven't we? Next season, Lena will be better. Next season, Lena will be better. I mean, she plays one game, scores a goal, and then we don't see her again. She never plays. So I don't think she will. She might well shine next season, but it won't be at Arsenal. It might be somewhere. It'll be somewhere else, probably back in Sweden. And that might be where she should be, because it's obviously not worked for her. And it's not necessarily her fault. And I quite like Lena, but it hasn't worked out for her at Arsenal. And sometimes it happens, and you just have to sometimes say, okay, fair enough, cut your losses. I'm sure she'll do well somewhere else and move on. And as long as we get some new players in, it's all good, isn't it? But she might well shine next season, but not at Arsenal, I'm afraid, because that is never happened.
No, I don't think so.
Not after 3 years. By now, I think we would have seen what we're going to get from Lena, and I think it's not that. And she's not the only one. I think this summer could be a big clear out, and hopefully a turnaround of players and get some fresh players in as well, which is going to improve us hopefully. And we can move on, and hopefully Champions League semi-finals and stuff like that will start becoming a regular thing, and not having to worry about the top three because we've got all that tidied up. Egg says, yes, more Swedish play. Well, I don't care where they're from, as long as they're good and better than what we've got. I don't care where they're from. But yeah, if you can find us a couple of good Swedish players, we'll be happy. Gret says, and hopefully Stina has learned how the offside rule works. Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit late for her now, isn't it? She doesn't know now, she never will. But we don't care. She can be offside 50 times. She'll still score a goal, so that's fine when she comes on. But she won't probably play tomorrow, I wouldn't imagine. She'll probably come off the bench if necessary. Terry says Friday nights are better. They have Wi-Fi. Well, they don't seem to have much Wi-Fi up north at the minute because I'm not getting any. So I don't know what's going on here. Carlton says Rosa will shine next season. Well, I hope so. Yes. But the evidence so far tends to suggest that it might take a bit longer for her. But who knows? Maybe she'll find her feet next year. Greg says, well, Matty, she's got to be bored of no competition in her league. Well, yeah, I'm sure Mariona can have a chat to her and try and get a few of them to come over. So come on, come to Arsenal. You'll love it here because we don't win every game 10-0, but it's
probably end up going to Chelsea, So.
Oh, don't say that. That's the last thing we need to happen.
Sorry.
And says you can't afford them, probably not. No. But I don't know. It'd be nice to get some top. I mean, Mariona was a great signing, and if we can get a player of Mariona's quality last summer, we have to get players of that similar quality this summer, don't we? That's what we need. They're the sort of players we should be looking at. No one else. Players of that level. That's what we need to improve what we've got and to move us forward. And they cost money. Yes, they do. But like I said, we're getting 60,000 at the Emirates. We're getting 45,000 at the Emirates regular. If we can't afford to buy some top players with that, then I don't know what's going on. Joe says, start KCC. She's a great forward.
Yes,
no, I agree, absolutely. I would start her 100%. I would definitely start her, but I've got a feeling she won't be. 110 volts says, my egg timer has more minutes. Well, yeah, at the minute, absolutely. But maybe next season she'll shine. Who knows? Greg says, it seems we only get players on free transfers. Well, we do get a lot on free transfers. But then if they're good players on free transfers, that's fine, isn't it? And don't forget, Chloe Kelly could be a free transfer at the end of the season as well, if she wants to come to stay with us. Egg says, Sweden sweep the floor with England this summer. Well, we'll see, won't we? The Euros is going to be interesting. But we shall see what's going to happen. We'll look forward to that, obviously, once the domestic season is over. It's going to be a good summer, actually. Looking forward to that. I do love a good summer tournament. And who knows? I mean, you look at England, right? If you look at the men and the women, we've reached the final last 4 summers. Can we make it 5 in a row? Wouldn't that be something? I know we've only won one of them, but we keep getting to the final, don't we? So, the women reached the World Cup final, they've reached the Euros, the men have reached 2 Euros in a row. So, 4 summers in a row of finals. It's been great, hasn't it? Let's make it 5. Right? Let's get England.
Exactly.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Greg says, Sweden sweep the floor for us. What are they doing IKEA? They're all Swedish. They're working on it. It's always clean, so you've got to give them credit. They are clean, so that's good. But let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting this summer, isn't it? If England have to play Sweden again, because we beat you 4-0 last time, didn't we? That was good. So let's do it again. Anyway, that has been. I know it's a strange night. It's not Friday. I'm gonna probably not get up for work tomorrow, thinking it's Saturday morning. I'm gonna end up going to play football. But it's not. Got to remember, it's not Friday. It's Monday. It was a different night. We squeezed one in for you. We didn't want to go another week without a show, so we managed to get one done, which was good. And yes, we're looking forward, of course, to tomorrow. What a game that is going to be! Champions League, love it.
Get on.
So I'll be here for that. I will be here. I'll be in. I'll be here about 5:30 time, straight from work. I'll come straight here, get it on. We're going to watch the game together. It's going to be good. Is it on DAZN? Did you say, Andreas? Is that where it's on?
Normally it should be on the zone, yes.
And TNT. It's also on TNT Sports in the UK as well. TNT, yeah. If you've got TNT, it's also on there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even better. So we've got options, haven't we? So I'm sure we'll be able to find it. So we'll watch that tomorrow. That's going to be good. So join me for that about 5:30. And then, of course, on Saturday, Friday, we'll do a show Friday just with some videos and stuff, and I'll be here and we'll do that. That'll be good. And then, of course, Saturday evening, late kickoff, 5:30. Strange time of a WSL game to kick off on a Saturday, isn't it? But it's because it's an international break, I suppose. Of course, it's Liverpool. We need to get revenge on them, don't we? For not only beating us in the FA Cup, but for beating us at the Emirates last season as well, if you remember, first game of last season. So we owe them big time, don't we? So we need to put that right on Saturday. So that's going to be good. So it's a big week for the women, isn't it? It's a really big week. And let's hope it ends in the right way and we can enjoy some great games this week. It will be. I'm sure it's going to be good. Joe says, "Is a semi-final finish class as a success?" That's interesting. Actually, that is interesting. I thought 2 years ago it was because of the circumstances of the season. Would it be a success? Andreas, if we lose in a semi-final again and maybe come second in the league or third, would that be a successful season? Would you say?
Oh, I don't know.
And no, because we went out in the cup competitions, in the domestic cup competitions too early. That's not a successful season, and we were out in the title race.
Yeah, exactly.
In autumn, that's not successful. We are struggling to finish on second or third place. So no, but apart from all this, reaching a semi-final in Champions League would be a successful Champions League campaign for us, and that's what counts now. So yeah, all eyes on Champions League.
What about reaching the final but losing the final? Would that make a successful season?
Oh, let's not think. Why can't we win the final, guys?
Well, obviously, winning a final would be a successful season. Of course, it would. But I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? I don't know what's. I mean, we're not at the level now where we used to be, where winning trophies every season. I know we won a trophy the last 2 seasons, but I don't know. I can't decide if we lose in the semi-final. I can't decide if I think that would be a good. If we say we come second in the league and we've reached the semi-final of Champions League, would that be a successful season? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But then it would still be 2 years since we lost one silver.
Yeah, the domestic cups, FA Cup and League Cup, were too disappointing to say. Reaching the final in the Champions League is nearly all you can get, because normally Barcelona will win it, and all the other teams in the Champions League, they are competing for a spot in the final against Barcelona. So this would be a success, but we are far away from this. And don't make the second step before the first. Let's make the first step against
one step at a time. Exactly, one step at a time.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's not get carried away. We're not in the semi-final yet, are we? Actually, but no. I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It is quite interesting. Whether that would be, I mean, I suppose the club themselves would probably look on that as a success, because we'll be in the Champions League next season if we've come in the top 3. We've reached the semi-final again, probably a sellout crowd at the Emirates for the home leg in the semi-final, you would imagine. So the club would probably look on it as a good season, wouldn't they? But as fans, I don't know, I think we want more, don't we? We want to see winning trophies. That's what we want to see. And if we're not winning a trophy, then I don't know. Is that a success should that be considered a success for an Arsenal team? I don't think it should. We should be aiming for more. And I suppose when you look at the season that we've had in terms of all the upheaval at the start of the season with Jonas leaving and the club umming and ahhing about a new manager and Rene getting a job and all that kind of stuff, I suppose it wouldn't be a bad season if we come second, reach the Champions League semi-final, we got to the League Cup semi-final. It wouldn't be a terrible season, but not for me. That's not a success. Not for Arsenal. That can't be.
It's divided on trophies, isn't it? Trophies.
Yeah, it is. It's winning trophies. Yeah, or at least getting to the Champions League final. Maybe like you said, losing Barcelona in the final. Okay, we don't want to lose to anybody in the final, but you could look on that and say, actually, reaching the Champions League final, it's got to be considered a good thing, hasn't it? A success. It has to be. And, you never know. We get to a final. We can win a one-off game against anybody, I'm sure. But there you go. Ag says, Arsenal top 3 in WSL is... Yeah, it's good, but is it a success? Is it a success?
It's not great, is it?
Good. I agree. It's good. Greg says, second in the league is all they want. Do we really want to win trophies? Well, yeah, exactly. Second in the league is good, but it isn't a trophy. It's not success, is it? It's just a good season, not a great season, not a successful season. Carlton says should have beaten City and Liverpool in domestic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We should, and had we done that, then we'd have been we'd have played in a final. Saturday, wouldn't we? The League Cup final. We'd have been there. Derby probably beating Chelsea because we always beat them in the final. And of course, if we'd beaten Liverpool, we'd be in a semi-final, and we'd play Chelsea again.
That pitch was absolutely terrible, by the way.
Oh,
anyway.
the pitch was. Yeah, but we played at Meadow Park. We're used to it. Chelsea struggled a bit on that pitch. I think we'd have beat them on that pitch. Actually, I think we would have beat them on that pitch. Absolutely. But anyway, we lost and that's it. But yeah, you're right. We should have beaten them, and then we'd have had a chance to win a great season. It could have been a great season, couldn't it? And now it could still be a great season if we win the Champions League. That would be an incredible season, wouldn't it? But let's see. Let's get past Real Madrid first before we start thinking about semi-finals and finals or anything else. Let's get past. Let's get a good result tomorrow, and then we can move forward. And hopefully we will be in the semi-final. But it's we've still got a bit of work to do yet. It's not going to be easy at all. Anyway, it's been an unusual night to have a show. We've done them on different nights before. It's not the first time. It's the way things work out sometimes, isn't it? Terry says, I love being first loser. Well, yeah, I'd rather not be loser at all, but there you go. It is what it is. Let's get as far as we can in everything. And if it means the final, let's do what we can do. But let's win. Let's get through tomorrow's game first. So it's a bit of a strange night. Monday doing a women's show. It's like, oh, what's going on? But I'm glad. It seems like most people have caught the show, and you managed to find us tonight, which is good. Regular people in the comments, which is nice. So thank you to all you guys for contributing. If you are new here, maybe because you're on a different night, you might not have seen us before. Because maybe on a Friday you're down the pub or wherever you are. Maybe on a Monday you've found us, and if you have, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please consider subscribing and saying join us tomorrow for the match against Real Madrid, because that is going to be good. So you don't want to miss that either. So yeah, we'll see. We'll be back on Friday after tomorrow's game. We're back on Friday again, and then hopefully we can start getting back into the normal routine of it all. It's just the games have been played and all things going on, and Andreas likes flying on a Friday because it's special treatment on a Friday. I think that's what it is. He can get in first class on a Friday. You see, that's why he's flying. You should get it free anyway. You just say you're Lord Andreas. They should let you on the plane for free on a Saturday. Get your own private jet, surely.
Yeah, exactly. I said this the other day, Andreas Airlines. I did say.
That's what it needs. That's what it needs. You should get his own little private. Does the weekend start now? I wish the weekend was starting now. Actually, I wish it was starting now. That would be good. Wouldn't it? It should be the same. Why can't the weekend start on a Monday and last until Sunday? Why can't it do that? That'd be good. That'd be good. Oh, that's called retirement, isn't it? Or being on the dole, I suppose. Egg says, yes, off to the pub tomorrow. Well, that's good for you. You can go to the pub tomorrow. Someone's still got to work. Joe says, it does. Turn your alarm off. Oh, yeah, turn your alarm off. I'm going to think it's Saturday morning tomorrow. Mind you, when was it? Was it last week? I think it was last week. I woke up on Friday, convinced it was Saturday. I don't know why. When I woke up in the morning, I was convinced it was Saturday. And I was all ready to go and play football. And I'm thinking, oh, no, it's not Friday. Let's go work. So that was a bit disappointing. So I'm going to have to get my head right for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and it's game day. It's match day tomorrow. So
tomorrow's Tuesday, yes, Richard. Take it easy, my friend. Take it easy.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So the weekend doesn't start tomorrow, but there is a game tomorrow. So there you go. It's going to be good. So join us for that at about 5:30. I'll have to rush home from work and everything. Christ, what they do to me. But it's going to be good. It'll be worth it, I'm sure. So thanks you guys for joining us tonight on a different night. Thank you, of course, to Andreas again for joining us. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course I did. There's a lot of interesting subjects to talk about, and it's always good to discuss with you and with our viewers. And yeah, looking forward to what's coming tomorrow. I have to travel to Munich for the game against Lyon, and then fingers crossed for our game in Madrid. And traveling to London for the Liverpool game. I'll stay in London until the Madrid game. So really busy times. Yeah.
Bayern Wolfsburg last week.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Busy week. Busy. Lots of travel and lots of football, which is what do you want in life, really? I mean, what more could you want? Loads of traveling and loads of football. Nothing better at all. And as well, good to see. And we can see you a bit more as well now, which is good.
Yeah, the lighting is much better here. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while, and yeah, it's been a while. It's been about a month since I was last on. Hopefully, it won't be another month before I'm next on. Yeah, I'm going on holiday for 1 week. Be able to watch the game tomorrow. Won't be able to watch the Liverpool game. Should be back home in time for the second leg against Madrid. So yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be good. Thanks for having me, Isabel. Yeah, thanks for having me, Isabel.
No problem at all. Carlton says, great show, guys. No, thank you very much. Thank you for your comments as well. Joe says, great show. I've really enjoyed it. No, thank you very much for joining us again, Joe. Always a pleasure to have you with us in the chat. You're with us most times now, like most shows, which is good. So yeah, so if you are new here, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. We're back tomorrow for the game because that is Champions League quarter final. Wow, exciting times coming. Exciting times coming. We are looking forward to that. So join us for that tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Andreas and to Amar and to everyone.
Thank you,
like,
guys.
share, and subscribe before we go. We'll see you tomorrow for the game. Come on, you Gunners. Let's
Yeah,
do
come
it.
on.
Champions
Go
League. We're going all the way. We are going all the way. Let's do it. See you tomorrow, guys. Take it easy.
Night, guys. Night. Bye-bye.
Oh!